Well, tonight a man in Metro Detroit has his freedom after nearly 40 years in prison for a non-violent crime.
Carolyn Clifford joins us with his story and the light it's shining on systemic issues dating back decades. Carolyn?
Well, in the 1970s, the prison population in America was about 300,000. Today, 50 years later, it has ballooned to nearly 2.5 million. The federal law requiring mandatory minimum sentencing is one of the leading causes. Well, a local man sentenced to 40 years and just released represents what many say is wrong with our criminal justice system and how COVID-19 is shedding light on the disparities.
My husband, Quentin Bird, has been incarcerated since the year 1990.
Pamela and Quentin Bird have been fighting for his release from prison for years. At age 20, he was slapped with 41 years behind bars under the mandatory minimum sentencing law for drug offenses created by Congress in 1986.
We got a connection through a confidential informant, and he was working with Wayne County Sheriff Department. We was agreed to purchase 15 kilos of cocaine.
I spoke to his attorney, Devin Palmer, from Washington, D.C. He worked on his case pro bono through FAM, Families Against Mandatory Minimums, a nonprofit advocating for criminal justice reform.
Why do you think Quentin got such a long sentence?
There was a drug component to the crime, and there was a firearm that was in his vehicle.
The two charges were linked.
It was a non-violent occurrence. The firearms were never used.
Quentin is one of the more than 260,000 people to have received this type of sentence for drug dealing.
That was my way of getting out of the struggle, you know, taking the easy way out, I suppose.
Pamela was his teenage girlfriend before prison and became his wife in 2018. She says despite good behavior, Quentin could not catch a break. Nearly a dozen appeals denied.
It got denied repeatedly and for no reason. And murderers and child molesters and rapists, they go home before nonviolent offenders.
Then this year, enter COVID-19. Prisoners in tightly crammed quarters with the deadly virus spreading like a vapor.
It's ramping up. There are so many people dying. Yeah. And you have to die alone, as you know, in a bed, chained to a bed.
Data shows 125,000 have tested positive, including 5,500 in Michigan, and 1,000 prisoners have died. With diabetes, kidney disease, and high blood pressure, Quentin was at high risk of dying if he contracted COVID-19 in prison.
They still should have right to their health care, and they shouldn't be dying in prison because of COVID-19.
Pamela met Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence at this peace march in downtown Detroit. Pamela asked the lawmaker to write a letter of support for Quentin's case.
Her jaw dropped. And she said, how many years did he get sentenced? And I said 41. And she said, oh no. She was so upset.
Did she write that letter of support?
She did write that letter.
In August of this year, Quentin, after serving 30 of a 41-year sentence, was released from prison on the Compassionate Release Program. Quentin today, not bitter, just thankful.
I ask God to lead me, direct me in the right path, if I can do something good with my life, and that's what I stand on, that's what I promise to do.
That's his grandchild right there. Right now, Quentin is working on a youth program where he and his wife can go into schools, juvenile and youth centers to talk about what prison is really like and how kids can avoid the dangerous temptations that led him down the wrong path. Rexy.